Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. This time, we're looking at some advice for future doctors. We've got excerpts from Deep Medicine by Eric Topol, some research on AI in healthcare, and even a glimpse at the latest developments with medical AI.
It's not just about the technical stuff, though. We'll be exploring something fundamental to medicine, empathy. Even with all the advances in AI, that human connection, it's absolutely essential.
Okay, let's jump in. Topol, he kicks things off by highlighting how much medicine has changed. And I'm not just talking about fancy new gadgets. The entire healthcare system, it's gone through a major overhaul. He paints this pretty stark picture of healthcare, almost becoming more like a business, where costs are just skyrocketing and genuine patient interaction is dwindling.
It's a valid point. Topol cites the example of a hospital stay, costing nearly $5,000, but with barely any face time with the doctor. It's easy for a system like that to feel impersonal, especially from the patient's perspective.
It's almost like patients are becoming like dollar signs instead of people, which is a bit unsettling. Topol introduces this concept of deep medicine as a sort of antidote to this impersonal system. He argues that careful observation and deep thinking, those core tenets of medicine, they're becoming even more crucial in the face of these challenges. He even shares a personal anecdote about a misdiagnosed knee injury to illustrate this.
That story really highlights how even seemingly straightforward cases can be mishandled if they're not approached thoughtfully. It's like we're losing the art of the physical exam, taking the time to truly observe and listen to the patient. Topol even criticizes the growing trend of just writing WNL within normal limits in patient notes, suggesting it often means we never looked.
That's a bit concerning. I mean, if doctors aren't taking the time to properly examine their patients, are we relying too heavily on technology? Is that what Topol's getting at?
Absolutely. The physical exam is such a fundamental part of building trust and rapport with patients. It's about that human touch, that connection that can make all the difference in their experience. And it seems like that's being overshadowed by the allure of technology.
So what's the takeaway here for aspiring doctors? Should we be ditching the tech and going back to the basics?
Not necessarily. It's about finding the right balance. Technology has its place, but we can't let it eclipse those foundational aspects of medicine: careful observation, critical thinking, and that all-important human connection.
Okay, so we're talking about finding a balance between technology and the human element of medicine. But how does AI fit into all of this? It seems like AI is everywhere these days, from diagnosing diseases to assisting in surgeries. Is it a friend or foe to future doctors?
It's a question that's on everyone's mind, and Topol certainly doesn't shy away from addressing it. On the one hand, there's a lot of excitement about the potential of AI. He highlights some incredible successes, like the Face2 Gene app that can diagnose rare genetic conditions just by analyzing facial features.
That's pretty amazing. But then there's the flip side, right? The potential downsides of relying too much on AI.
Exactly. Tupol cautions against becoming overly reliant on AI. He uses the example of a pneumonia algorithm that actually made incorrect predictions about asthmatics having better outcomes. It's a reminder that AI can have inherent biases, and those biases can have real-world consequences for patients.
That's a sobering thought. So it sounds like AI is a powerful tool, but one that needs to be used carefully and thoughtfully. We can't just blindly trust these algorithms, right?
Precisely. As future doctors, you'll need to be AI savvy, you'll need to understand its limitations, its potential biases, and how to use it ethically and responsibly. It's about seeing AI as a tool to enhance your skills, not replace them.
So we've talked about the changing landscape of medicine, the importance of deep medicine, and the rise of AI. It feels like there's a lot for aspiring doctors to think about.
There certainly is, but beyond all the tech and the algorithms, there's something even more fundamental that Topol emphasizes: skills that can't be downloaded or programmed into an AI.
You're talking about the human side of medicine, right? Those qualities that make a good doctor truly great.
Exactly. Things like empathy, communication, and the ability to think critically and solve problems creatively. These are the skills that will set you apart, that will make you a truly effective and compassionate doctor.
It's interesting you mentioned empathy, because Topol actually cites research showing that empathy scores, they tend to decline during medical training. That's a bit alarming, isn't it?
It is a concerning trend, for sure. It suggests that the intense, often stressful environment of medical training might be inadvertently chipping away at this essential quality.
So what can aspiring doctors do to combat this decline in empathy? Is it something we can actively cultivate?
Absolutely. Topol suggests incorporating things like mindfulness practices, reflective writing, and even exposure to the arts and humanities into your routine. It's about expanding your perspective, stepping outside the purely clinical bubble, and remembering that your patients are whole people with complex lives and emotions.
That makes a lot of sense. If you're constantly immersed in textbooks and medical jargon, it's easy to forget that your patients are real people with fears, hopes, and dreams.
Exactly, and strong communication skills. They go hand in hand with empathy. Topol stresses the importance of clear, compassionate communication with patients. It's about explaining complex medical information in a way that they can understand, listening attentively to their concerns, and responding with empathy and respect.
It's about meeting them where they are, not talking down to them or overwhelming them with technical jargon.
Precisely. And remember, communication is a two-way street. It's not just about conveying information. It's about fostering a genuine dialogue with your patients, listening to their perspectives, and involving them in their own care.
It's about building a partnership, a shared understanding. But communication isn't just important for the doctor-patient relationship, right? It's crucial for interacting with colleagues and other members of the healthcare team as well.
Absolutely. Effective communication with nurses, pharmacists, therapists, and other healthcare professionals is essential. For coordinated, high-quality patient care, it's about teamwork collaboration and ensuring everyone is on the same page.
So aspiring doctors out there, take note. Honing those communication skills will serve you well throughout your medical career.
It's an investment that will pay dividends. Now let's shift gears and talk about something that's generating both excitement and a healthy dose of anxiety in the medical world. Artificial intelligence, or AI.
It feels like AI is everywhere these days, from self-driving cars to personalized shopping recommendations. But it's also making its way into healthcare in a big way. And that has a lot of people wondering what it means for the future of medicine.
What's remarkable is how quickly AI is evolving. Things that seemed like science fiction just a few years ago are now becoming reality. We're seeing algorithms that can diagnose diseases, assist in surgeries, and even develop new drugs.
It's incredible, like that example Topol gives, of the AI system that can detect diabetic retinopathy from retinal images. It's just as accurate as a human ophthalmologist.
It's amazing, isn't it? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. AI is also being used to analyze medical scans, predict patient outcomes, personalize treatment plans, and even discover new drugs.
It sounds like AI has the potential to revolutionize healthcare. But are there any downsides to all of this?
There are certainly valid concerns that need to be addressed. One of the biggest is algorithm bias. These AI systems are trained on data, and if that data reflects existing inequalities in our healthcare system, the algorithms can perpetuate those biases, leading to disparities in care.
That's a critical point. We need to ensure that AI is being used ethically and responsibly, and that it's not exacerbating existing health disparities.
Absolutely, and that's where you as future doctors come in. You will be the ones integrating AI into clinical practice. You'll need to be aware of its limitations, its potential biases, and advocate for its ethical use.
So it's not about rejecting AI outright, but about using it thoughtfully, critically, and always with your patient's best interest in mind.
Exactly, and let's not forget the importance of the human element. AI can process data and make predictions, but it can't replace the empathy, compassion, and intuition that are at the heart of good medicine.
It's about finding that balance, isn't it? Embracing the power of technology while preserving the human connection that is so essential to healing.
Precisely. Now let's delve into a topic that's often overshadowed by the buzz around AI, the concept of artificial consciousness. It might sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's a field that's gaining traction, and it raises some profound questions about the nature of consciousness and the future of medicine.
I have to admit, the idea of machines becoming conscious is both fascinating and a bit unnerving. What does that even mean? Can a machine truly experience feelings, or is it just mimicking human-like behavior?
Those are questions that philosophers and scientists have been grappling with for centuries, and we still don't have definitive answers. But what's intriguing is that as AI systems become more complex and sophisticated, they're starting to exhibit behaviors that resemble human consciousness in surprising ways.
So what does this mean for the future of medicine? Could we one day have AI doctors who not only diagnose and treat diseases, but who can also understand and respond to our emotions in a truly human-like way?
It's a possibility, but it also raises a lot of ethical and philosophical questions that we as a society need to carefully consider. What are the implications for the doctor-patient relationship? What does it mean to be human in the age of artificial consciousness?
These are big, weighty questions, and they don't have easy answers.
But they are questions that you as future doctors will be confronting in your careers. As AI becomes more integrated into healthcare, you'll need to navigate these complex issues and advocate for a future of medicine that is both technologically advanced and ethically sound.
Okay, let's come back down to earth for a moment and talk about something a little more practical, albeit less glamorous. Medical paperwork. That's not the most exciting aspect of medicine, but it's a huge part of a doctor's daily life.
And it's an area where AI could actually be incredibly helpful. We're already seeing the emergence of AI-powered tools that can automate tasks like transcribing patient notes, filling out forms, and even generating reports.
That would be amazing. Imagine all the time doctors could save. They didn't have to spend hours on paperwork. They could focus more on patient care, on research, on all the things that truly matter.
Exactly. And that's not all. AI can also help to improve the accuracy and efficiency of medical documentation, reducing the risk of errors, and freeing up valuable time for doctors to focus on more complex tasks.
But as with any new technology, we have to be mindful of potential pitfalls. What about privacy concerns? What happens when sensitive patient data is being processed by AI systems?
It's a valid concern, and one that needs to be addressed carefully. We need to ensure that appropriate safeguards are in place to protect patient privacy and to maintain the confidentiality of their medical information. This means demanding transparency from the companies developing these AI tools and advocating for strong regulations to govern their use.
So it's about using AI responsibly, ethically, and always with patient well-being as the top priority.
Absolutely. Now let's shift our focus to something as often overshadowed by all the talk about technology, the enduring importance of the human element in medicine.
It's easy to get caught up in all the advancements and forget that medicine at its core is about human connection. It's about building trust, showing empathy, and providing compassionate care.
Exactly, and it's something that we can't afford to lose sight of, even as technology continues to evolve at an unprecedented pace. Topol reminds us that the doctor-patient relationship remains the cornerstone of healthcare, and that building strong relationships with patients is essential for positive health outcomes.
I think sometimes we forget that patients are coming to us, not just for a diagnosis or a treatment plan, but for reassurance, for understanding, for someone to listen to their fears and anxieties.
It's true. Patients are looking for a human connection, for someone who sees them as a whole person, not just a collection of symptoms. And that's something that no meme, no matter how sophisticated, can replicate.
So aspiring doctors, take note. Cultivating your empathy, your listening skills, and your ability to connect with patients on a human level. These are just as important as mastering the technical aspects of medicine.
It's about finding that delicate balance between leveraging technology to enhance care and preserving the human touch. That lies at the heart of healing.
Speaking of finding balance, let's talk about something that's often overlooked but incredibly important, especially for those entering the demanding field of medicine, the importance of self-care.
It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of medical training, the long hours, the pressure to succeed, the constant demands on your time and energy, and neglect your own well-being in the process.
It's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're not taking care of yourself, you won't be able to effectively care for others.
Exactly. And self-care isn't just about getting enough sleep or taking a vacation now and then, although those things are important too. It's about creating a lifestyle that is sustainable, that nourishes your soul, and that allows you to show up as your best self, both at work and in your personal life.
It's about finding activities that bring you joy, that help you to de-stress and recharge, whether it's spending time in nature, pursuing a hobby, connecting with loved ones, or simply taking some time for quiet reflection.
And it's about setting boundaries, learning to say no, and prioritizing your own needs without feeling guilty. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't effectively take care of others. Burnout is a real risk in medicine, and it's something we need to be proactive about preventing.
So aspiring doctors, remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Pace yourself, find your balance, and take care of your own well-being. Because a healthy and happy doctor is a better doctor for everyone.
And with that, we wrap up this deep dive into advice for future doctors. We hope this has given you some food for thought as you embark on this incredible journey.
We'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.